Well, hey everyone, welcome to our virtual cooking class. My name is Kate Watts. I'm a registered dietitian, and we've got guest chef Tiffany King here. She is going to be preparing a chicken fajita bowl, chicken burrito fajita bowl, which I'm very excited about. So if you have questions or comments, let us know as we go. And Tiffany, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing on a busy Thursday night? Let me tell you, I was just telling Kate I am a football mom times two, so trying to get a 17-year-old to practice and a 6-year-old to practice is can be very busy in the evening. But I'm so glad to have you guys in a quiet house tonight to do this great chicken fajita burrito bowl, which my boys will be back in a little while, and so they'll be ready to eat. So we're gonna get started. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do with the burrito bowl, I'm gonna get the rice going. So I'm using brown rice here. This is a whole grain brown rice, and it's gonna take a little bit longer than but a lot of people use a traditional jasmine or white rice. It'll take a little bit longer to cook. So we're gonna get that started first so everything can be done at the same time. So I'm using my laptop because my internet is acting up. So I'm gonna come right here. So I just got a regular saucepan here. I'm gonna use about 2 cups, about a cup and a half of water. And then I'm gonna measure that out and kind of get going with that. So it is just a second.
As Tiffany mentioned, brown rice does take longer than white rice. But if you need something quick and easy, they do sell microwavable pouches of brown rice that take 90 seconds in the microwave, no sodium. So that is a good option. Also, if you're trying to get used to whole grain versions of things like rice or pasta, a good trick is to actually do half and half. So you can start your whole grain pasta or your brown rice first, and then you can add in your refined or white version a little bit later so that they're done at the same time. And that way you have a half and half mix. And it's kind of a good way for your family to get used to that new whole grain flavor as you're kind of switching over to that healthier option.
Right. Absolutely. So we're gonna get the rice on. I'm gonna just turn the heat up on high. We'll let that come to a boil. Then I'm gonna stir it and then just let it simmer with that. And so while we're doing that, we're gonna switch and start working on our chicken dish. I'm gonna move you'll hear me talking, but you'll see my hands going. So I have my cutting board here. Just as a safety, I'll put a damp paper towel underneath my cutting board. And the one thing when you are making a dish like this, you want kind of everything to come out and everything will be done in about in an hour. So I got the oven preheated. I turned mine down. My oven cooks a little hot, so I got it down 350. I know the recipe says 375. So I got my beautiful vegetables here. I got some yellow peppers, green peppers, red pepper. So I'm just gonna kind of peel those. I've already washed them, but I'm gonna take the seeds out. Okay. And then I'm just gonna slice these up. Oh, nice. And you know, with working with something like this, when everything is just gonna go in a bag or a bowl, you can slice them up as thick or thin as you want, as many as you want. I know with my boys, they don't care for vegetables that much, so this is a great way to kind of sneak all those veggies in them at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna get some of these vegetables going, and you can get the tricolor. Like I'll go to Food Line and get the tricolor pack. Sometimes that's a little bit cheaper. as far as money wise is concerned, I'll grab that and then just pick up a green onion. And you can kind of trim the inside of it a little bit, take some of the grain out. And hold on to these tight because they will slide. Okay, so I'm getting these vegetables kind of thin. You want them all pretty much the same size so they can cook evenly here. And I'm gonna grab my green pepper as well. I had pre-marinated some of the vegetables and the chicken. Down. Now, green peppers can be all types of shapes, funny little shapes, so you can kind of turn it, chopped up. Okay. All right, so you got a nice, pretty color of vegetables, so festive here. And see, and that'll serve quite a few people. Our rice is going good right now, so we'll be turning that down in just a minute. Now, to this, I'm going to add my red onion as well. I'll just peel the outer peeling off of my onions. Sometimes these onions can be pretty big, so there's nothing wrong with cutting it in half to kind of so you can work with it a little bit more. Peel that outer edge off. Okay. I'm gonna pause just a second, check on this rice. So you can see it's starting to boil here. So I'm just gonna turn it down on low, just get a nice stir. You don't want to keep stirring, make sure everything is covered. Now, some people may cook this in a vegetable broth or a chicken broth. You can do that as well. I'm just doing a nice plain rice. So this is gonna be a bed. Now, you can also use, like last night, I had we had tacos and I just made I had cauliflower rice and I got that out of the frozen section and works really well. And I use that in place of rice. You can do that as well. So as this is going, I'm just going to cover it and turn it down on low and let it continue to simmer. So it's going to take about 45 minutes. It should be ready at the same time our vegetables and our chicken comes out. Okay. Let's continue on with our red onion here. If you have any questions along the way, any tips, and this type of dish can be prepared. You can prepare a lot of it, stick it in the freezer, make lunches, bowls. You can put it over, you can even put it over pasta or anything like that as well. So do that. I'm just going to slice my onion here. Onion. Oh, that's boiling over a little bit. I'm going to turn it on down. Onion. Now, sometimes chicken, of course, working with chicken, people get tired of chicken. Lord, they got chicken every night. But when you add different little flavors to it, just kind of, take your own spin on it, you can. And plus, eating out is very expensive. I mean, Lord, you go into Chipotle now, you can spend $60 in no time on a family of 4, okay? And so these are easy, very inexpensive weeknight dishes, okay? So you see our nice, beautiful bowl of veggies. Tilt that just a hair, okay? Any questions so far? I'm gonna rinse off my cutting board.
No questions have come in yet, Tiffany. I think it's great you're doing such a colorful dish tonight. We are doing Eat the Rainbow Challenge with Cone Health right now, eating more colors with fruits and vegetables. And also, you're feeding two teenage boys, young adults
Yes.
playing football. So this meal is cheap, but it'll feed your family. They'll be full and there'll be leftovers. But if
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's the one thing. Another bowl here. Sorry about that. Had to grab another bowl. See out of what with the, with one thing with working and being a mom and working so much, I might cook 2 or 3 different dishes on Sunday that'll last for a couple of days. And that really helps because you come in, you got homework, you got practice, you don't feel like turning that stove on. Half of us don't even want to look at the stove. So, that's the thing. So it's really good to get some of these things off, and you can kind of set it and go to something else, and you don't have to worry about, standing in the kitchen for hours on end trying to get dinner done. Okay, so I'm working with some chicken breast here. As you know, a lot of the chicken breasts are very thick, so I'm just going to trim some of the fat off here, and then I am going to cut this in half. Okay.
Tiffany, we do have a question about, do you have any tips about not tearing up when you're cutting onions?
Just do it quickly. Like I did that one pretty quick. It's really no avoiding it. People got all types of TikTok remedies and stuff, but if that was the case, our mothers and grandmothers would have figured it out by now. So I really try to just cut it kind of quick and then move on. I was tearing up a little bit, but I just kept going. I'm so, used to it. So what I'm gonna do now, when you're cutting chicken breasts and of course, make sure you have a sharp knife, but also I'm gonna go in the middle, but I got my hand here as a buffer and to hold the chicken breast, but also make sure you don't hit your wrist as well. So I'm just gonna make a nice cut here so they'll cook kind of quickly and evenly because they're such large pieces, and then you almost got 2 pieces in one. Okay, so I'm gonna just toss that in the bowl here, and then I'm gonna grab the other piece as well. Clean that up as well, kind of trim those ends. And a lot of times you can buy these. Now I bought these a family pack at Food Line. It was about $11 with that. If you get the Simply Nature, some of their organic, they'll run you about, gosh, $15, $18 now. So these will go a long way with feeding. So I can make a good amount of chicken. As you can see, you can cut 2 pieces in one. Okay, so we got our chicken breasts cut. Let me wash my hands. Now to that, I'm gonna add some taco seasoning. Now you can get, this is a Food Line brand taco seasoning. You can get a low sodium. You can use as much or as least if you need to, but you definitely want to flavor everything because of course chicken in itself, especially chicken breast, is very bland. So you definitely want to add enough seasoning to it. But of course, if you're trying to wash the salt, you can of course lighten up on the seasoning. Okay, and then I'm going to use some of my olive oil here. Okay, just continue. What you want to do is make sure you coat your chicken really good. Okay, that seasoning sometimes will crumple up, so just kind of massage it good. Get that seasoning really coated. And that's anything, especially with the holidays coming up and we're doing turkeys and stuff like that. You really want to make sure you season your meat good. Even if you don't have time to marinate it, at least try to season it up really good. Okay, and layer it with flavor. Now I got my vegetables. I'm gonna add some of my vegetables at a time so I can get those coated good. And then I'm just gonna repeat the process. Put a little bit of olive oil here. Add my seasoning. Just cover it just a little bit. Okay, but again, continue to massage it in. So everything is being nicely coated. Okay, nicely coated, especially if you just do this and you want to do it where you just add nice fresh cracked black pepper and salt. That's another thing. I'll share some seasonings that I use a lot in the kitchen that I really like that add a lot of flavor to food. Okay, all right. And then we're gonna add in the rest of our vegetables here. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit more olive oil. And then again, a little bit more of that seasoning. So I'll just use about a bit more than half the pack. Okay, just continue to just slide that in. It will kind of jump out on me. Okay, now, if you had smell-o-vision, it's already smelling like a fiesta in here, so it's really great. Now, what's gonna allow that to pop, also hit it with some lime juice here. Get that here. That's gonna brighten up the flavors. Get that, just kind of watch the seeds. Of course, if you want to do like that, let the seeds drop in your hand, but do that. Get that nice and coated. It's going to add that great citrus flavor to your dish. Okay. All right, great. Now, so now here, I got my sheet pan ready. If you don't have a sheet pan, definitely use, I got it lined with some foil only because it makes cleanup a lot easier. I'm gonna hit that with a little bit of oil or cooking spray. Just hit it with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm gonna take a paper towel, and this gives you an extra little coating of oil there. Okay. Righty. So now I'm gonna get my tongs out here, and I want the chicken to lay flat. Okay. Let chicken out, and then I'm gonna put the vegetable. Now, can you do this on the grill? Absolutely. Lord, my grill is in my backyard, and I tell you, I probably had took the cover off that grill, and I don't know when, because I've been really busy. So, but my intention is to grill sometimes on Sunday. I feel like grilling. Okay, so I got my chicken breast all layered here. This is because I want this closest to the heat, of course, and the vegetables, I'm just going to toss them on top. Okay, look at that, really nice and pretty coating here. Okay. Right. Okay. All right, now this is going to go in the oven. Okay, oven's nice and hot, ready to go. Okay, perfect. Bottom rack here. Okay, so I actually had another one marinating earlier, but I was going to show you with this one, you can use the large bags here. So let's say we wanted to have one you're taking to a function or the weekend or something like that, you can do that and just put it in one of these large bags and then set it in the refrigerator. And then you can go ahead on and prep that for the next day. Okay. So you can go ahead on and prep it, seal it in the bag. I kind of press out the air a little bit. And these are big bags. So, okay. And then here, and then of course, so it's ready to go. So if you do some meal prep and you're prepping these meals. Of course, you can also use freezer bags as well. And then you can just set that in the bottom of the refrigerator. Of course, the longer it sits, the more the flavors are going to marry together. And it'll be great for, you know, a weeknight, quick weeknight meal that you can prepare as you're doing, you know, veggies. If you just want to have plain veggies, if you want to use fish or beef or something like that, it'll definitely work well with that. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna check on my rice. It's boiling away here. I keep kind of turning it down on low. Just kind of, if you see it where it needs to add a little bit of water, just hit it with some water. Okay. All right. So some of the toppings that I work with, I use, you know, when I first started out cooking, I really wasn't a big fan of avocado. And I couldn't really figure out the flavor, right? I just couldn't, you know, I didn't like it. I thought it was, I didn't like the texture, and some people still don't. But I really, it's packed with a lot of nutrients. Sometimes I have an avocado toast, and I'll show you some of the seasonings that I'll use with it. One of them that I use that is called, it's by Veggies. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's called, it's a complete seasoning. And let's see, per serving, it has 90 milligrams of sodium, but I use it kind of lightly, but I really like it on avocado, chicken, fish. It's really a complete seasoning. And it really goes with a lot of things. It flavors things very well. And I really like it when I'm working with avocado. So this is some other vegetables that I like, different seasonings. Okay, I'm gonna rinse off my knife, and then we're gonna.
Tiffany, that's a great suggestion as far as the brand of seasoning. You guys can find that more often on the international aisle of your grocery store. And when you're shopping for seasonings, especially when I want to try something new, I hesitate to spend, you know, $6 on a bottle of seasoning of dried herbs or dried spices when I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. And if you go to the international aisle, they often have much cheaper spices by that brand. And they also often have like clear packet sizes of spices where you could spend, you know, 50 cents to $1 and be able to at least try a flavor before you commit to buying a full container of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the seasonings, and you want, I like a seasoning like this that I can use it on multiple things. Sometimes it'll be only for chicken or only for beef. This is something you can use on multiple things, vegetables, and pasta. Like I made some Alfredo and I hit it with a little bit of this complete seasoning. I really like the flavor. So I like to have seasonings that I can use on multiple items, multiple things, and not just a one. You know, like if you use seasoning salt, that's something that everybody has, right? Lowry seasoning salt, but I don't cook with that pretty much because it's so heavily salty. I like to try different things and different flavors. Okay. Excuse me 1 second. Let's start playing.
Guys, let us know what some of your favorite seasonings are in the chat box. That way we can just kind of share with each other some good options. I've grew up really only, you know, seeing my mom cook with salt and pepper and every once in a while cinnamon. So learning and experimenting with herbs and spices has been it's just been a process for me. And I'm just now getting where I feel comfortable knowing which spices kind of pair well with different cuisines. So yeah, let us know if you have any favorite herbs, spices, or blends in the comments.
Yeah, and I like McCormick's. They have a great roasted garlic and herb seasoning. I definitely use that a lot. I'm sorry, when my son's friends, like they knocked so hard on the door, I'm trying to figure out who it was. And they wanted to play. So I'm also the neighborhood mom as well. So you can get very busy. Okay, so we're gonna get some of these toppings ready. So I'm gonna have ready avocado. And right now, avocado is like, I think you can get these for under $1 at Food Line, 69 cents. Okay, so I'm just gonna run it around here. Okay, all right. So to take the pit out, just twist. Okay, pit out. Okay, now here, I'm gonna run it to get this a nice chunks. Just gonna run my knife. I'm not going all the way through. One, I don't want to stab my hand. This is a nice, ripe, beautiful avocado. I'm just gonna turn it here. Here, same thing here. These are great toppings to add if you have some guests coming over. You can add these. Of course, you can make guacamole. I like it just, just popping it out here. Okay, now if I do this right, it should come on out. Now, don't hold me to it. Look at there. Well, okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's try the next one. And now you can also do this. You can take a spoon and just go around the edges. I was trying to be fancy and pop it out. Okay, look at that. Okay. Now, here, with this, I'm just going to leave it chunk because this is how I like it. If you can do it however you want. If you want to mash it up, add cilantro, jalapenos. They also have a garlic, a guacamole mix. Sometimes I'll use that, a seasoned mix you can get in the fresh section in the grocery store. This is also, and these are like $1. And so you can use these multiple times and you can just, keep them in the refrigerator or in the cabinet and they'll stay fresh for a while. And then you can add it to your guacamole mix. Okay. So it's another way, instead of buying all those other seasoning, you can just get a cheap seasoning pack that'll last you for a good little while. But to that, I'm gonna add the complete seasoning here. Okay, we'll do that, kind of toss it. I'm just gonna gently toss it because this is gonna be a nice topping for my bowl. Okay, and then of course, to prevent it from turning brown, I'm gonna hit it with a little bit more of that lime juice, okay? All right, so if you're having people over for parties and stuff like that, you can make a ton of this. Add tomato, Pico de Gallo, anything like that, and it'll go a long way. And then everybody can kind of make their bowl the way they would like, okay? Now, in the interest of time, I purchased like the Pico de Gallo from Food Lion. Sometimes I'll get this one. You can make your own, of course, but this is a good little buy. I think it's like $3, maybe a little cheaper sometimes. And so it's a good flavor. And you can also, there's nothing wrong with adding your own seasonings to it. I'm going to add a little bit more cilantro here, but it's already chopped up. It's a don't feel like you have to make everything, fresh and homemade. You can use these are made in-house at Food Lion. And I try to get one with a later date on it that'll last a little while. And also if somebody in the house, if you're the only one that likes Pico de Gallo, you don't need to make a large amount. You can just make a small individual kind, or you can just purchase something like this that's low cost. You don't have to worry about having a whole bunch of vegetables that may possibly go bad at home. And then you can jazz it up a little bit. I got some cilantro here. I'm just gonna kind of bunch up. Okay. The chicken is smelling good, guys. Okay. Run my knife through. Now, this is how you add that freshness to that Pico de Gallo with some cilantro. Cilantro is pretty cheap, or it adds that nice freshness to that Pico. Okay. So here I'm just gonna, especially if you're cooking for family, you don't have time to bowl here. If you're cooking for family, you don't have time to just add a little bit of cilantro again, some fresh lime. Okay, as well. Okay, so here you can mix that through. Okay, and then taste. If you want to add some flavor to it, some more seasonings to your liking, by all means do that. Okay. Right. Okay. We'll check on our chicken. Whoa. Oh, wow. Smelling absolutely. Probably a few minutes in that. And I'm also going to check on this rice. Okay. All the water has cooked out. Okay. Of the rice. Okay. And so I'm going to take a fork here and just give a little fluff. Okay. Here. So it's still nice and steamy, but I want to taste now if your rice is crunchy. If your rice is crunchy, it's not cooked. Okay, so hopefully I don't get a crunch. Oh wow, really good. Okay. Oh, I'm just gonna turn that rice off. I'm gonna keep it on the iron, let it continue to stay nice and warm here. And so we're almost ready to plate our, well, I'm gonna get some sour cream out. And I also have some black beans as well. I'm using the Goya black beans. And I'm gonna pull those back, be careful, but I'm gonna also rinse some off. Okay, rinse them off a little bit. And then I'll take some of that saltiness out of it. Well, let them rest. So I got my beans just rinsed off. So they're packed in salt, so I want to make sure I get that. I'm gonna get my bowl out ready to go. Nice little bowl here to get ready to start building my burrito bowl. Okay. Any questions so far? Katie, anybody got any questions?
Yes, Tiffany, we do have a question. Christina asked, what is the amount of time to cook chicken breast to prevent it from being so dry?
Oh, wow. You need to, if you're concerned about it dry, especially on grills. Thin pieces take about 10 to 15 minutes. You want, if you are unsure, you want the temperature to measure, if you have a thermometer, 165 degrees in the thickest part of the meat. A lot of times, if you coat it good with olive oil, it'll kind of help retain that moisture so they won't be so dry. That's what I try to do. As you can see, I kept, putting some olive oil on there, and that helps to kind of help retain it. And also, when you got all those vegetables up there, it's going to be nice and tender. Sometimes people cook chicken breast to death. You don't have to do that. Like I said, about 10 to 15 minutes on thin piece, and that helps as well. When you cut those thick pieces in half, it helps they cook a lot evenly and they don't dry out as much, because when you have those really thick pieces, it takes a lot longer, and you of course run the risk of them drying out.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All righty, so I'm gonna get some sour cream out. And of course, if you want cheese or something like that, you can definitely get that as well. Okay. These are great dishes to use during the, I like this, this type of stuff. And then it gives you a little flair in the in your food repertoire. And it looks like you spent all day when you really didn't. So I really like that as well. With the holidays coming up, you can switch this. So like if you want to do a lot of time pork loin, you can do grilled pork chops with this and cut up some Granny Smith apples, put a little cinnamon, salt and pepper, season those really well. And then do that. You can, so many things you can do. And then also you don't have to stand there and cook it on top of the stove. You can put it in the oven, put it on the grill. This will go great on the grill as well. You can make little individual packets of chicken. You can do shrimp, you can do fish, put your veggies on top. You can, cook your steaks on the grill, put those vegetables on the side, and they make great sides as well. So there's a lot of things you can do and with chicken, with vegetables to continue to, have that, weeknight, because sometimes you pick up the same stuff over and over again in the grocery store. And it's great to try some different things. And that way I always tell my students, open up your palate a little bit more. Sometimes it can be a little scary if you're not used to working with some of those dishes, but give it a shot. If you don't know, YouTube, that's always a great resource. You can definitely email me or something like that if you have some questions. That's the same thing. Like when people are cooking turkey, a good turkey tip, use those Lipton oven bags. They really help retain the moisture. You can add all types of, vegetables, the Lipton Lipton onion soup mix. Those are great seasoning packets. You don't have to worry about buying a whole lot of ingredients. Put those in there. Butter your turkey really well. Put a little bit of chicken stock in the bottom. That'll help retain the moisture. Let her go. She'll be done in no time. Okay. All right, let's get this chicken out the oven. See where she's at. Ooh, all right, perfect. Oh, beautiful. Look at there. Look at that. Okay, look at that, guys. Beautiful. Okay, nice. They were starting to get a little caramelization on top. Your vegetables. Okay, we'll move these beans out the way here. Got my bowl here as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. And grab another tongs, and we're just gonna look at some of the thin pieces. So you can see, beautiful. Now, if you don't have a thermometer, how do you know your chicken is done? Good question. Here, see that? You want a nice pearl white all the way through. See that? Beautiful. Okay. Now, of course, another thing that'll help you with moisture is to let the meat rest. Let the meat rest. Here, if I would just let it rest for a few minutes, it allows the moisture to kind of go, the juices to go back into the meat. So when I start slicing it, it still retains this nice moisture. Okay. If you cut it, all the juices will start running out. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let that rest for just a little bit while I begin to build my bowl. Okay. So where did the bowl go? Okay. Here we go. So got my bowl here. We'll get some of this beautiful brown rice. Where's my spoon? Here, I'm gonna spoon out some of the rice at the bottom. Nice base. here. Right. Now to that, I'm gonna add a little bit of my black beans. All right. Now I'm gonna bring the chicken back over. Slice up some of the chicken here. Beautiful, nice piece of chicken. Okay. Chicken in. Okay. Some of these nice roasted veggies. Okay. Then got my food line pico. That on top. Okay. And look how big this is, a large bowl, guys. So this is really, really great. Now, if you want to have salsa, something like that, absolutely. Okay. I'm gonna top it with a little bit of my avocado. I'm gonna add cheese, it's fine. And then I'm gonna do a little dollop of sour cream. Okay, right there. Okay, get it. Okay, with okay, nice. Now that was done. Wow, under an hour, right? Okay,
That looks
beautiful
amazing,
bowl.
Tiffany. It looks so
Beautiful
good.
bowl.
It is.
Okay,
Yep.
and you know that's I think probably with the vegetables and everything, probably about 22, 23 bucks. So great. And you can feed, you know, 6 people or more.
And like you
Okay.
mentioned, if you don't have a big crowd to feed, it's a great one to make it all at once, and then you can portion it out for your meals throughout the week, or you could freeze half of it in the beginning steps, as you mentioned. So yeah, it's a great budget friendly meal all the way around.
Yeah, and packed full of flavor. And I think that's the one thing that I like about working with, um, you know, fresh vegetables, chicken. You can add the flavor. You can back off the flavor. You can use cauliflower rice. You can use no rice at all, right? You just have the vegetables and the chicken, or just the vegetables. So it's really whatever you want to make it, right? It's you can really the recipes. I always tell people is a guide, but you can also be as creative as you would like to be. And it's really up to you and your guests. And it's really a great way and to make it fun, right? You can do this ahead of time as a nice dinner party. People can make their own bowls, get some tortilla chips, some salsa, you know, some cupcakes and some wine. And hey, there you go.
It's a
You know,
party.
don't, yeah, it's a party. And don't, you know, one thing that I always tell people, don't do too much. Like sometimes when you're you can wear yourself out cooking for people, especially if you're known to do all the cooking in the family. They'll wear you to death, and then you're tired and wore out. you know, they fix the plate and go home, and you got to clean up that kitchen and everything. So sometimes you can cook for people, and then you can be tired, and then you can't enjoy your guests. So you want to make sure that you plan ahead, use some store-bought ingredients. There's nothing wrong with that to make your life a little easier, especially now with everybody be getting together for all different types of parties and end of the year parties and Christmas and Halloween. You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to try to do big parties that stress yourself out, especially if you're working, you got to take care of your family. The people will be fine.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us, Tiffany, and taking us step by step through it. It looks very flavorful, and it's also a really balanced, nutritious meal as well. So definitely one to keep as a on your go-to meals list for a busy week. I'm getting some comments from our attendees that they really enjoyed it. They're saying thank you. So thanks again, and we look forward to having Tiffany back in future virtual cooking classes. Hope you guys all have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you all.